Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy to Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays, a time where I connect with you every Thursday at 12 p.m. EST to walk you through three things. Number one, what is your brilliance? The one thing God created you to do in this world. The second is the value tied to it. And the third is how you create multiple streams of income from it. I'm always excited to be here to pour into you. Now, today our episode is pre-recorded because I'm actually, while you're watching this, in the middle of helping my mother move. But I didn't want to miss out on this opportunity to pour into you. So come on in and tell me name, tell me where you're from. As I'm sharing, if I share anything that's of value to you, I want you to give me hearts, give me fire emojis if I'm stepping on your toes. And if you know that someone in your life, in your community, on your social media or in your social media tribe will benefit from this insight, please share it. Share it because you also never know who has been looking and praying for this insight. So today, what I'm walking you through is really based on something that I hear so many people talking about lately. And I saw an actual article, or not article, I saw a news story actually this morning that said this: at the end of March, or by the end of March, over 1 million people have quit their jobs. It's called the Great Resignation. And so whether it's been COVID or the Great Resignation movement, here's what I absolutely know. God's intentional. And so I'm going to walk you through the 5 reasons your purpose matters now more than ever. And you're going to see me looking at my notes because I don't want to miss a thing. And here is the other thing I want you to get before I walk you through these 5 reasons. You know, and if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me say this before. God was intentional when he decided, because nothing happens without God saying yes to it, when he allowed COVID to hit this world. Now, I'm not talking about other people we've lost and people you've lost and those of you that have had COVID. I'm not talking about that. And I want to just give my condolences to all of you that may have lost someone. What I do know is all of us have had more time on our hands. We've had more hours in the day. I already work from home, but even looking at my husband shifting from working in an office to working at home, and now you can be more intentional with your time. And I believe God did that at the beginning of 2020. Because how many of you guys were saying 2020 was going to be a year, 2020 vision, and then we forgot about that when COVID started? Yeah, no. God meant for 2020 to be a year of vision and a year for us to get intentional about why he created us and why we are here in this world. See, he knew you were going to be born at a time that COVID would happen. He knew COVID was going to happen way before we did. He knew you would be here on this earth at this moment in time. And he also knew the DNA he was placing inside of you. And so as I'm looking at the Great Resignation and the number of people that are resigning, I want to walk you through the 5 reasons your purpose is needed now more than ever. Because the other thing I know is that God put you here on assignment. So that's number 1. There's a reason that God created you. There's a reason. There's a reason why you're gifted in certain things. You have a natural propensity for some things. God knew exactly how he wanted to use you in this world. And what I have found actually, I read an article. It said one study showed that just 1/4 of Americans or adults said they're clear about what their purpose is. 1/4. That means 25%. That means that 75% of Americans do not know their purpose. And when I really think about the fact that God is intentional, that God has got a systems. If you don't believe me, go read the Genesis 1, start from the first chapter, the first verse, and how God created the world. He was intentional with how he created, what he created, when he created. And then if you still don't believe me, look at the sky and realize there's a solar system present, that we have sun at certain times. We have moon at certain times. There's spring and summer, and I'm waiting for the summer to start, and winter and fall, or fall and winter. That's all a part of a system. You don't believe me? Go drink a glass of water and realize it's going down your digestive system. So if God has got a systems, the world is a system. So there's certain things that you do that are part of a mechanism that will help to grow some things, improve some things. And when you get intentional about that, then you begin to live as the highest and best version who God created you to be. which moves us into number 2, and also allows you to see and have clarity on what's important versus what's not important. When you begin to get clear about your purpose and you know that you're here on assignment and you know what that assignment is, you know how you're meant to do it and be it, then you're clear on what it is and you're clear on when whatever someone's offering you is not in alignment with it. The number of times that people call me, and I always say to my clients, all money is not good money. It's just not. And so when you say yes because you're in hustle mode, or you say yes because you're working on the paycheck. And some of you guys have heard me talk about this. By the way, I'm in a series right now on my podcast, if you're not listening to my podcast, called More Money, More Purpose. And really, God gives us opportunity to show us our intention. See, I said God was intentional. When you know what's important, you're acting with intention. So are you chasing money or are you chasing purpose? Are you going after living as the highest and best version who God created you to be? Or are you trying to look for status? You want your name on lists. Now, let me say this to you. When you're living on purpose, your name ends up being on lists. You end up making money because the word profit means to gain. When you're making money, you're gaining for the kingdom. See, my gift is that and one of my clients called me a purpose producer. What I can do and what I'm naturally gifted at, what I'm naturally gifted in, how those words blended together, is that I can see your gift. And then I can see every way you can make money from it. Automatically, it just happens. If I give you an example, one of my best friends is an image consultant. And she had invited me to go to this conference with her. And she wanted to go kind of hang out for the weekend because she lives in one state and I live in another state. And we hadn't seen each other for a while. And I said, I'll only go if, and I started thinking of all the things that she could do to make money in that weekend. And she was like, I wasn't trying to work. I said, oh, I'll close all your sales. You just do what you do. But I can't help it. That's how I'm wired. So what happens is when I do my thing that God put me on this earth to do, I'm helping you produce what you are created to do. And the more I do that, the more people that start purpose-focused businesses, the more gain there is in this world. Do you get that? So what's important to me is that I stay true to that. And anything else that comes in conflict to that, I say no to. Clear and uncompromising. I get invitations all the time to speak on platforms, big ones too, or go places that are not in alignment with my gift, and I say no. Because I'm clear on what's important and what's not. I'm also clear that I have to spend time with my family, that I have to spend Nicole time. And even in my Nicole time, no is a complete sentence. So when you begin to get clear on what's important, you move all the other options out of your way. One of the conversations I'm talking about in my podcast is the fact that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So what the enemy tries to do is distract you from your purpose. So anger is a distraction. Frustration is a distraction. Bitterness is a distraction. And you might be bitter about a relationship and you might be thinking, well, what's that have to do with my purpose? Because wherever you go, there you are. So if you're upset about something that happened in a relationship, don't you think that part of you is coming with you to work? And what happens is, how many of you guys have been through a bad breakup and you can't sleep? I know I have. That distracts you during the day. So when you start to get clear and you get under God's mission, listen, the word submission, and people hate that, me too. I used to hate that word for a long time. Then God led me to study submission. Sub is under. Mission, y'all kind of know what that means, right? So when you're submitting to God, you're under his mission instead of what the world says you should do. That really helps you begin to understand what's important versus what's not important. Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when you start to conform, you start to be what the world says you should be versus the importance that God has already placed inside you at birth. So you've got to start to get clear and uncompromising on what's important versus what's not. The other thing so number one is it's the reason God created you, is your purpose. The second reason is that it gives you clarity on what's important and what's not. And I should say it gives you clarity on what's in alignment with it and what's absolutely not. The fourth reason your purpose matters now more than ever is it really does give your life meaning. You know, when I think about the work that I do, listen, I never feel like I'm working. I can work hour upon hour upon hour and not come out of my office. I was thinking about this morning. I was having such a good time working that I sometimes I feel guilty. That I love my job this much, that I get paid to do the thing that I love, that I get paid to do the thing I do so effortlessly. But it's also God's gift back to me, that payment. But this work that I do gives my life meaning. It makes me excited to wake up every morning. It makes me feel fulfilled. There are so many people, and this is why I believe the Great Resignation is happening, that wake up and are dreading going to work. You know, if we spend, depending on how many hours a week you drive to work and how many hours a week you work, you can spend anywhere from 90 to 70 hours a week at work. That's more than half of your week. Why would you want to live in dread and regret? I don't care how much you're getting paid. I don't care how big your title is or how phenomenal it looks on your resume. If you hate it, why are you doing it? Michelle Obama talked about this in her book, Becoming. That she had matriculated through her law career, made it to great heights, and realized that she hated it. She hated being a lawyer. So she had a decision to make. And I believe that decision is the biggest one that's happening right now in the middle of the Great Resignation. I believe that's the reason for it. Because people now realize, why am I doing this thing that I hate? Which is one of the reasons why I think God gave us so much time to sit with our own selves. To get clear. To stop compromising who we are, to stop settling for good enough. There's a quote that I love that I say all the time, that deliberate mediocrity is a sin. It's time to stop being deliberately mediocre. It's time to stop settling for good enough. And for those of you that know now is your time, I want to share, I'm going to come back and give you the last 2 steps. I promise you that. But I want to share something special I'm doing with you. So starting on May 17th, for 3 nights, I'm doing what I'm calling my Purpose to Profit Masterclass. And those 3 nights, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to go after the meaning, the purpose, the clarity that you need. So I'm going to play this quick commercial. I'll come back, tell you a little more about the masterclass, but then I'll also give you our final 4 steps. So hang tight. Let me play the commercial. I'll be back after. I see so many people talking about finding their purpose or starting a business only to get off track or trying to do a million different things. And why is this a bad thing? Well, because you end up being just okay at many things, but never great at the one thing that God created you to do. Now, here's the thing. When you focus on your one true calling, your brilliance will naturally shine through and change your life. It'll change your life, your business, and your bank account for the better. But how do you figure out the strategy to align your purpose with profit? Well, that's the exact reason I'm inviting you to join me for my free 3-day Purpose to Profit Masterclass. Register to join me by going to purposeprofitmasterclass.com. Now, starting on Tuesday, May 17th through May 19th, I will be teaching you live each evening at 8 p.m. EST. See, in those 3 days, I'm going to share the insight that changed the game, not just for me, but it's shifted the trajectory for others that I've been blessed to coach and teach. And here's what you must know. When you understand your purpose and how God wired you to make a profit from it, when you understand that you're not called to serve everybody or do everything, but recognize what you are called to do and you stand in it and learn how to create multiple streams of income from it, it changes everything. You don't want to miss this. And here's something else you must know. God will let you live on whatever level you settle for. And why would you settle for good enough? Yeah, I said that even if you're already successful, God has more for you to do. And He has a breathtaking future waiting for you. And that's the exact reason I'm inviting you to join me. Go to purposeprofitmasterclass.com and reserve your seat. I can't wait to serve you. All right. So one of the reasons I decided to do this masterclass is because I see so many people, and can I tell you the truth? You shouldn't quit your daytime job when you're starting a business. Because you got to spend money to make money. And I see so many people going to the Great Resignation. I'm quitting, I'm gonna start my business. And it takes a good 18 months for you to grow real revenue in your business. I'm talking 6 figures of revenue. And you've also got to set your business up on a strong foundation. And that strong foundation starts with the 3 things I'm going to walk you through in this masterclass. The first one is getting clear on your purpose, or uncover your purpose is what I'm teaching the first day. I see so many people that walk around and they think they know what their purpose is, and they don't. This was me for years. I'll tell you how I felt miserably because I was unclear. And once you get clear on your purpose, then we're going to work on identifying your platform. Listen, God created a garden for Adam to dwell in. That's Genesis 2:8. 2:8 or 2:9. The same way God created a garden for Adam to dwell in, God created an arena for you to dwell in. And you've got to identify what that platform is and how do you stand out in the sea of people that do what you do. Because, yeah, other people do what you do, but no one does it like you when you get clear, which is day 1. Day 2 is identifying your platform. And then day 3 is multiply your profits. Oh, God created you to multiply. So I'm teaching you that. There's more inside information on the website. So again, 3 days for free. Again, starting May 17th, I'm teaching you live every night at 8 p.m. EST. All you've got to do is register for your seat, and I am ready to pour into you. Those of you that want to up-level your experience, I created a manual for you because people always ask me for handouts. And so I've leveled every handout that I've ever given and made it into a manual. And so you'll see that you have an option to invest in that manual on after you register for free. So again, it's purposeprofitmasterclass.com. So with that, let's walk through the final 2 steps, the final 2 reasons, I should say, that your purpose matters now more than ever. So the first reason was God created you for a purpose. God was intentional, but are you intentional? The second reason is you've got to know what's important versus what's not. What were you put here to do and what were you put here to not do? The third is that it creates meaning in your life. The thing that I also think is interesting when we look at even meaning, there's so many health disparities that are connected to meaning, like stress. When you have meaning, stress lowers. The overwhelm, the depression, all the things that are connected to you hating your job, those things lower when you are doing the thing you love. Chronic disease, multiple study after study after study has shown when you love what you do, you just feel so much better about your life, which trickles through your health. So the fourth reason that your purpose is needed now more than ever is it gives you constant drive. So I want you to think about it like this. One of the major issues that happen in companies is employee engagement and retention. Part of that reason that employees aren't engaged, and maybe you're not engaged in your job, is because you probably hate what you do or you're bored. You've outgrown it. You outgrew it a long time ago. So that drive, when you love what you do, like I said earlier, I can be in my office for hour upon hour and never come out because I love it so much. And I'm not saying that because I'm live. That's the truth. So I always have drive, I always have ideas. I'm always thinking of things and doing things because I love what I do. It's a passion that listen, you should do something that you would do for free. Don't do it for free though. Don't give it away for free because that's the way God meant for you to live abundantly. But I'm saying that because you have such a love for it. And it's that drive that will actually help you outperform everybody else that does what you do. Mm-hmm. And then the fifth reason your purpose is needed now more than ever. I think this one probably is not the biggest, but I think this is the one that people overlook. I call it your purpose matriculates. As Pastor Isaac Petrie says, you grow on levels and live through stages. God doesn't expect you to come to this earth and stay on one stage and never shift and never grow and never expand. That was a whole prayer of Jabez, that Jabez prayed, Lord, please expand my territory, expand my capacity, enlarge my borders that I may serve more and do more for good for you. So in order to do that, your purpose matriculates. I've talked about this on a previous live episode with you here, but I think it bears repeating. Just like in the education system, we matriculate through the education system. So you're going to start in kindergarten. Some of you started in preschool. Then you move on from there and you might go through elementary and junior high and high school and some college and grad school and on and on and on and on and on. That's the education matriculation system. And see, your purpose matriculates in the same way. But the difference is in education, we know the process, but your purpose, you do not. See, I believe God does it because he's testing us. He's testing us to see if we're worthy of the expansion. Otherwise, we'd all be at Oprah by now. And Oprah went through so many things that so many of us wouldn't go through. Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, people, just think about anybody that you greatly admire. Steve Jobs, who, even though he's no longer here. I really want you to think about the things that people go through, because what they do is they grow to their next level. So the reason your purpose is needed now more than ever is there's another level of you that is waiting to come forward. It's a difference between a caterpillar and a butterfly. And some of you guys are walking around with a butterfly business, but you've got a caterpillar mindset, or you've got caterpillar strategy. And so the reason it's not working is because you haven't taken the time to grow you. It's another reason why I'm inviting you and why I created the masterclass. And here's what I want you to know. If you know you're in the middle of a matriculation cycle, if you know now is your time, grab a seat. If you don't, I don't want you in it. Because if you're not going to activate, I come to teach you, but I'm the kind of coach that wants you to activate what I learn, what I teach you, what I learn, what I teach you. I do teach you from what I learn. Because listen, my husband said this once, and I'm sure he got this as from a quote somewhere, that dreams without activation is hallucination. It's hallucination. I'm not here for hallucination. I'm here for activation. I'm here for the next best version of you. I'm here for you to go after all that God has created you to go, do, and be. Oh, and the profit that's attached to it. So even if I look at my own journey now, I'll tell you my story of how my person matriculated. You'll hear all of it in the 3 days. But God, what's that Bible verse? All things work together for the good. I remember a woman, I shared the Michelle Obama story in a workshop I was doing years ago about the fact that Michelle Obama got to a place in her law career and she hated it. And a woman said back to me, Nicole, do you think that, Michelle Obama going to law school was a waste? And I said, do you think she would have been a phenomenal first lady without it? The Bible verse says, all things work together for the good. Not a few things, not a couple of things, not some things, but all things. And when you're at that edge and you're bored, or you're sitting in comfort, that means it's time to grow. Listen, your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. God's not going to convict you to go after a whole new level of you, and it's going to be comfortable, because it's about you stretching to grow you. And that's the exact reason I'm teaching you in the 3-day masterclass, because I know what it's like to be stretched and not know the tools to use to go after that stretch. And if you're going to go after all that God has rumbling inside of you, many of you have had it rumbling inside of you for years, like a baby. Some of you have been walking around with a dead baby in you because it's been past 9 months. It's been past time to push it out. Well, I'm here as your doula, as your birthing mother, as your Lamaze partner, whatever I need to be to give you the tools to push. It's time to birth the baby of your purpose. So with that, that's it for our segment for this episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, the Bankroll Your Brilliance expert. I'm always excited to be here to pour more into you. Again, if you know, like you know, now's your time. I look forward to you joining me in a couple weeks. May 17th through the 19th. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, 8 p.m. EST. And I'm going to encourage you to join me live. I'm teaching you live because I want to answer your questions as you post them. I want to be able to dig into things with you so that you can go after all, not part, not a little. And as I said in the commercial, God's going to let you settle for whatever level. He's going to let you stay there. If that's where you want, he's going to let you settle there. But I don't want to settle. I want to go after my breathtaking future. I want you to do the same. So I look forward to pouring into you in Purpose to Profit Masterclass. You go to purposeprofitmasterclass.com to register. And so as we continue, always every Thursday, I'm here, whether I'm teaching you or I bring in an expert to pour into you. It's my greatest goal and my calling that you live as the highest and best version of who God created you to be. Oh, and you get paid multiple streams of income while you do it. So thank you for joining me for this episode. Would you be so kind as to, number one, share the value you got out of today? And I do read every comment. And then if any of what I shared was valuable to you, will you click on the button, whether you're in Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, and share. Share because there are other people that need this insight, all right? So with that said, thank you again for joining. I'll see you next week for another episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays.